Thanks for tuning in to Riverside Webucation's YouTube channel and this episode of Wordology, where it's all about exercising your brain and becoming vocabulary strong. Now, here's your host and chief wordologist, Mrs. Meyer.
Hey wordologists! So today's lesson is on a suffix that I had promised earlier. One of the challenges of doing Wordology remotely is coming up with ideas. So if you have an idea of something that I can do or something you think would be useful to help make you vocabulary strong, just let me know. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Okay, wordologist, people who study words, it's time to get going on another wordology lesson. We love words. Here's a word that I came across today reading, a palindrome. Palindrome. A palindrome. A word spelled the same backward as forward. Let me give you an example. Okay, so the name Anna is spelled A-N-N-A, and if you spell it backwards, A-N-N-A. That's a palindrome. Here are some other ones. Wow, W-O-W. Backwards, W-O-W. And mom, M-O-M, M-O-M. And dad, D-A-D, D-A-D. Now, here are some that are a little longer. This word is kind of funny. It looks like kayak, but it's actually kayak. It must be, I don't know, it must be from another country that the A-Y makes the I sound. I think I can think of some other words, I just can't off the top of my head, where Y makes the I sound, but this is a kayak, which is kind of like a canoe. K-A-Y-A-K. Here it is backwards, K-A-Y-A-K. Palindrome. Here's another one that's longer. Race car. R-A-C-E-C-A-R. Here it is backwards, R-A-C-E-C-A-R. Isn't that kind of fun? This one, I mean, how long would this one have taken to figure it out? Was it a cat I saw? Now look at it backwards. W-A-S, was, I-T, it. There's the A, C-A-T, cat. There's the I, S-A-W, saw. Isn't that fun? Those are palindromes. I just love words, and anytime I can kind of play with words, I know I'm going to become vocabulary stronger, and that's my hope for you guys. All right, so yesterday we talked about code switching, this idea that when you communicate with certain groups of people, you might do it differently. And with your teachers, you are going to code switch and make sure you're using capital letters and periods. I've been talking to your teachers and they said they are doing some amazing writing, but man, they are not using capital letters and periods on their words. And we talked about how the more you grow as a writer, the more you concentrate on what you're writing and the less you concentrate on what you used to know. So you just have to go back to that because remember, I use caps and end marks to write sentences. That mantra or a phrase is going to be a gift you're going to give your reader. And your reader, especially being your dear teacher, would be very happy if you would use caps and end marks. So don't forget that. Today's SWABAT, this is an acronym, S-W-B-A-T. Scholars will be able to use the suffixes ist and to word jump. Now, I started with this on Wordology 1 when I just started talking about wordologist, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a wordology lesson using ist and and here it is today. So let's look at these two suffixes. We've been looking at prefixes. Therm meaning heat or warm, inter meaning between or among, like interact, terra and geo meaning earth, sub like subway meaning under, anti, against, tele, distance or far off, and multi we did the other day meaning many or much. So those are prefixes. Prefixes, it's funny because pre is a prefix. Prefixes come before, pre means before, so they come before the words. And then I gave you a whole bunch of them, like the ones that mean not, dis, un, miss, in, all those mean not. There's a lot of them that mean not. I didn't even give all of them. And then we're going to use word jumping with suffixes today. So suffixes can help us word jump too. If we start to know the differences between them, we can unlock the meaning of words. So ist means a person who, Means a person who, and or means a person who. Now I just want to point out that ER at the end of the word is sometimes used as a comparison, like happy, happier, happiest. But in this case, I'm going to be talking about, those are adjectives. I'm going to be talking about when ER is used as a noun, as in person. Okay, let me give you some examples of what I mean. So a person who, using ist, a scientist is a person who does science. Geologist, ology right here, study of. Geo, we learned that back at Riverside School. Geo means earth. So a geologist is a person who studies the earth. Cyclist is a person who cycles or rides their bicycle. Ventriloquist. Every time I come down here, it pops up on the bottom. Ventriloquist, that's that person who throws their voice. So it's like when you're talking, but you don't move your lips. You've seen those dolls that people use. Those are called ventriloquist, when the person is talking and it makes it look like a doll is talking. So person who ventriloquos, I don't know, that must be Latin. But you might have seen a ventriloquist in a movie, and it's when that person kind of throws their voice out, but you can't see their lips move. A harpist is a person who plays the harp. An automobilist is a person who drives an automobile. And a novelist is a person who writes a novel. Like I heard that Sophia in 5th grade is working on a novel, and Mrs. Paulson told me she's on her 7th page of her story. So a novel is just a long story, so we could call Sophia a novelist. Okay, so ist is person who, and oops, I gotta put OR in there. Let's just go do that right away. If I have OR in there, also means person who. So let's explore some of those. All right, so a teacher is a person who teaches, and a writer is a person who writes, and a drawer is a person who draws. Now I'm over exaggerating the part. We don't say drawer, but I'm over exaggerating it to point it out. A lawyer is a person who studies the law or who does the law, and you notice that when it goes to lawyer, it adds that Y in there. I thought this one was interesting. A New Yorker is a person who is from New York. So I thought that was kind of interesting that ER could even be when it's a proper noun here. You might call your grandpa an old timer. It's somebody that's from the old time. Usually I hear it kind of used in a playful way to somebody that's older. Hey, old timer. Mr. Meyer is a realtor, and OR means person, and he does real estate or sells homes. Inventor is a person who invents, and a decorator is a person who decorates. So that was our SWABAT. Today I'm hoping that scholars will be able to use the suffixes ist and and or, oopsie, I gotta put that in there, to word jump. Hang on, I'm going. All right, so wordologists, practice makes progress. The more that you start to pay attention to these and look for these prefixes and suffixes, the more vocabulary strong you're going to get. So that's all I have for you for today. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, that was today's lesson. It was the one that I talked about on day 1 that I was like, oh, I'm going to save that because I'm constantly looking for things to do. So when you see the suffix ist or at the end of the word, watch for it to mean person who. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Wordology. Be sure to subscribe and like down below. We'll see you next time.